much room, but I don't,
Yes.
I guess I missed the pole.
Yeah.
Okay.
The pole is, there is only one wire going through that pole, but they want it right there. And they want to move it,
Expensive wire.
no matter what.
Probably cable. Probably
It's
cable.
one single cable.
So what do we do?
It's encore.
We get,
It sounds like you're giving Marvin direction,
Yeah.
okay.
no
We don't have
action.
to make a motion.
That's right.
Anybody disagree with that?
I would further add that if moving that pole fixed it totally, where they have to go on the street, that was an issue. To my knowledge, this man has not asked the city for anything of an incentive. And we could do that for him if that totally fixed the problem. Sounds like it doesn't totally fix it, so, I mean, that totally fixes it all.
Yeah, no, not different.
I know, I see where you're going, we go to EDC.
Right.
Have that pole.
Encore is adamant, they don't want to move the pole away further. They moved it 4 feet, and that's about it.
Well, that's the other thing,
They've
'cause I thought it was a
already
new
moved it
pole,
4
it
feet?
looks like
They
it's a
already
new pole.
moved it
So
4
they
feet.
already moved it for
Yeah.
you.
They put the new pole, but they haven't put the wire on it yet. The old pole still exists.
Okay. You can
And
discuss
we
that
can
further
talk
with
to our
them
rep
and,
as well.
and EDC. We're not gonna help out with that.
We're trying to help you.
Yeah. We
I
want
need
that
all the
door
help.
open, like.
You've been,
After COVID, everything was so messed up.
Oh, I know.
The AC units, I had to get it from, 2 from Florida, 1 from Atlanta. It's not, those are the package unit. I asked the HVAC guy that, can you, put it in, within a month? He said, within a month, there's no way. I said, can you get it anywhere in the US? He said, there are 2 available in Florida. I said, I'll pay the freight and just get it.
Yeah, we went through that on this one on City Hall. It's only one, and we found it in Houston.
just get with him, we'll get it
Yeah.
worked out, we'll get you going.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much, we
Hope
appreciate it.
next time I see you, it's going to your store.
For the grand,
That's what I'm
for the ribbon cutting.
Yeah.
Number 10, discussion and possible action on waiver of potential conflicts of interest for negotiation of interlocal cooperation agreement between River Oaks and White Settlement. Sounds like this is you.
Now, we, really, from White Settlement, all we wanted right now was, we were just shopping alternative ideas. And we weren't ready for the contract part, but I understand when if it gets that far, you would have to have that.
And so what's happened is we've received a request from White Settlement to our office to review the agreement that was requested by River Oaks or submitted to White Settlement for consideration. When that came into our office, that triggered us to say, well, hey, we've got another client that this is between 2 clients. We need to get a conflict waiver before we begin working for either client on this project. We brought that here. I expect the steps would be that, as requested by White Settlement, attorney in your office would review this, then I would review the document, and then we would probably be, however it gets there, either we send it to both clients or it goes to White Settlement, they send it back to Marvin and says, hey, this is the version, this is what we're thinking, can you be good with it? We'd probably just send it directly to both at the same time, and then it would be available for your review. If ultimately the terms aren't acceptable, then you wouldn't have to move forward with the agreement. This is a letter where you would acknowledge that our firm represents both cities with regard to this particular agreement, and you'd be waiving the fact that, yeah, we can't have confidences from White Settlement about this agreement or from you about this agreement. Neither of you would have that confidence apart from one another. The letter advises there's nothing under the circumstances right now that makes us think there's a likelihood that there would be a conflict between the 2 entities with regard to this agreement. But there's always that potential, I suppose. But in essence, we'd simply be helping to draft and negotiate agreement between the 2 parties. If it's not acceptable to either, neither one has to move forward with it.
Just giving you a heads up, this came about because we currently rent our shelter. We rent the building out at Camp Carter. It's not ideal, and they every now and then kind of get frustrated and seem like they're going to kick us off. So we started looking for alternatives that we could use for an animal shelter, and we called White Settlement. We called Lake Worth, and we're like, hey, what would you guys charge if we were to bring dogs there? And they always take care of them. that's where that came from.
So this rabies management is just means general, I mean, that's the term it means. the
That's
rabies-
what they're using on the thing that we got.
Yeah.
Rabies management service.
That's,
So this is an entire agreement about moving
well,
our
no, we were
animals
just
out?
asking, we asked them, hey, what would you charge per dog that we bring you? Because we don't
Right.
have that many dogs that
Right.
we deal with.
Mhm.
If, in the event that we were to lose Camp Carter, and somehow the attorney got with it, hey, billable hours.
He's gonna win. White settlement, they took it serious. They were seriously considering your request, so that's a good sign.
That's good.
But it was something we would have in the event we needed.
Because we basically are on borrowed time with where we're at anyways, right? Because it's not,
Depends on which one you talk to then.
that's what I'm saying. What
Yeah.
if they get a whole new director and he's like, what are y'all doing here, and
Well,
kick us out,
that's-
you
That's
know?
why we're worried.
So that's like, this is like
And
a
that
fallback,
land has
basically.
never
Get our
come.
ducks in a row is what we're doing.
It's never happened yet, and they still telling us they're doing other things, so we don't know when that's gonna happen. So we're just trying to be,
Proactive.
that's
Like
it, under the principle
I
of
love
government.
it. So we don't do anything with this either?
No, you would need to approve it if you
Oh.
desire to waive the conflicts of interest that our firm would have in representing both White Settlement and River Oaks with regard to this agreement alone. And that would give us authority to continue to represent you and to draft an agreement to try to meet the needs of both parties.
But what he's saying, is he's not ready to move forward.
I
with
know.
this
No,
yet.
That's right.
This is just in case we
So-
get kicked out.
That's correct. So is it worth it? Is it worth it for you guys to move forward with that? It may not be.
We don't have any estimates or anything?
No.
I mean, it may not even be worth going to White Settlement,
Well,
but we
we
don't
don't
have
know.
any cost.
Does
We
approving
don't
that
know.
help us or hurt us,
So
cost us anything?
if you approve it, then our firm would do some work to draft and review the agreement to try to get into a form that we believe would be acceptable for both parties. There
So if
would
we're
be-
not ready for that, we shouldn't approve it.
Correct.
Okay.
The alternative, the one impact could be that if you don't approve the waiver, we can't draft the agreement for White Settlement, which might hinder your ability to get a response from them. That would be the only potential downside, is if they've asked their attorney to review it and make sure it looks good before they send it back. Maybe a phone call that says, hey, what are y'all concerned about? Let's talk general terms before we get legal on board. That might get the job done, I don't know.
Yeah.
That was gonna be
That's
my
better.
question, was
That's
if
what
any
we tried to
verbal,
do.
Y'all have already tried to do that?
do you have any verbal agreements or anything, or potential?
Who
No.
does Westworth go through, or do they have their own?
Westworth uses, believe White Settlement.
What about Lake Worth, does Lake Worth use y'all?
No,
Yes,
like
we
we're-
represent Lake Worth as well.
Where do they go?
Like where?
No,
They have their own.
Westworth.
Westworth, they used to go up here to TNC,
I think they're using White Settlement now.
they may be, because they didn't have very many animals, so they just went through TNC.
They go to Lake Worth.
I don't know.
Oh, they go to Lake Worth.
That's who we left.
No, I know, I heard the whole, I heard that, yeah. So,
What is your opinion, chief?
I didn't know
Continue
it was,
talking
it was
before-
gonna have to go before the city council. We had called the chief, the White Settlement chief, and we're like, hey, what would you charge, you know? And then I guess they started working it up, and then it went through their city attorney, and
here we
our
are.
city attorney.
So you don't even know if there's potential yet, you haven't had enough verbal to,
I
and you
just-
think you need to have this agreement before you can get to that point?
I don't know.
I say no. I mean, it seems like to me, if we don't, because we're just contemplating,
Right.
okay?
That's all it is.
We have it ready in the, let's say in 3 months, we decide, something happens and we do have to go with it, then we can come back at that time and start the procedures. In the meantime, it may not even be worth it because we don't have any type of estimate at all. So either like tell them, no, we're not ready for this type of thing, we just were, trying to figure out what you would charge. And if nothing else, let's go to Westworth and find out what Westworth pays them, so our range should be higher. They won't? We'll find out.
Open records request.
That's right.
Exactly.
Right.
I